McAndrews, and I'm the principal at IJ, and this is my first year here at IJ Holton and in Austin, and so for any of you that maybe have older siblings or older children in your family, I might not be familiar to you. And then we have a couple other people here that'll be important to you and your children as the time goes on. So you want to go ahead, Farron?
Sure. Hi, I'm Farron Delaney, and I'm one of the school counselors. So I will be with your kids next year in 5th grade, and then again when they move up to 6th grade.
My name is Karen Dunbar. I'm the instructional facilitator here at IJ Holton. So I work more directly with teachers in supporting them so that they can do the important work in the classroom.
And I'm Angie Taylor. I'm currently the 5th grade counselor, and I move up. So I'm another counselor in support here, but for the most part, Mrs. Delaney will be attached to all of their children this year.
All right. And I'm Lindsay, and I'm the assistant principal here at IJ Holton. Welcome.
So thank you so much, first of all, for joining us, because I know our different times of day don't work well for everybody, and so we're glad to have you here. We really enjoyed having the 4th graders here. We're really tired because we had a lot of 4th graders here the last 2 days, but had a really nice time seeing all of them and then their excitement about the year to come. So we've got a short presentation, and then we'll divide up in smaller groups, and we'll take in a tour of the building, and then you can ask individual questions that way. So you'll have a little bit more one-on-one time. And feel free to ask any questions or interject at any time. So IJ Holton was created with the intention of it being a STEAM school. And so I think STEM schools have been around a long time. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. STEAM adds the art component to those principles. And so we try to integrate the design process and the STEAM philosophy in a lot of the work that we do here at IJ Holton. With the integration of art, we actually are a grant recipient through the President's Committee for Arts and Humanities and are a recipient of the Turnaround Arts Grant. And so that was new to our building this year, and so we've been working for art integration within our core content throughout the year this year. And that'll continue through the year next year. That program has brought some really cool opportunities for us, like lots of great art supplies and some instructional strategies that wouldn't be typical in a classroom. One of them that our kids do a lot right now is called Tableau, and it's an acting strategy. So it's a way for kids to demonstrate understanding through a silent picture that they create with their bodies. And so it's different than what you would see in a traditional classroom setting, but I think for many of our kids, they really enjoy it. Here are some pictures to show you some of the things that have gone on throughout the year here. In the top left, we have a picture of a project that students in 6th grade did in their social studies class. Our social studies content and standards for the state of Minnesota are Minnesota history in 6th grade, so kids will have that to look forward to in 2 years. And the center picture is the rendezvous that they attended in Albert Lee, along with the 6th grade went to that. On the right, we hosted an activity called Bubbleology, which was a cool opportunity for students from Winona State that are up-and-coming teachers to work with our students on creating the perfect bubble solution. And so this one is a girl inside a bubble, which is they get pretty excited about that. We've got our musical and orchestra right in the middle. We have Math Masters and some other gifted and talented programming. And then some just various pictures of things going on throughout the building. Last week we actually hosted our Turnaround Artist, and that was a famous 15-year-old painter who came to IJ Holton and spent a day with our students, and they really enjoyed that. It's not often you get to meet a 15-year-old art prodigy, so they were excited to see her.
A typical student day beginning next year, students can come into the hallways and locker bay areas. That's where they will put their jackets and things. And 7:30, that's when typically students begin dropping off from buses. Breakfast begins at 7:30 in the cafeteria. Classrooms time is at 7:45. Teachers' contracts start at and begin at 7:45, and that's when the FTLA doors open, and you're going to see what those doors are and what that means. The learning areas open up at 7:45. Then the school day will begin at 8, and the school day will conclude at 3 o'clock, which the school buses line up out in the bus driveway, about 24 of them, where students from both IJ Holton and Ellis Middle School board buses at 3 o'clock.
And then the parents drop off right outside where you guys entered today.
Correct. And there's always the stopping lane, and then there's always the lane that always stays moving. If you've ever picked up someone here at IJ Holton, it is busy, a very busy place. This 4th Avenue is a very busy place because really on both campuses we have almost 1,500 students, so it is just a very busy time of day, morning and afternoon at drop-off and at pickup.
I tell parents it's easiest to come in from this side, come in the parking lot and go out that way, because if you try to cross traffic, you sit for a really long time on 4th. So you'll learn though, you'll learn very quickly when you're coming in and out. Do any of you guys have students who already have been or are students here at IJ Holton? So our schedule next year is going to look quite different than this year. And so that'll be really important for you guys as you learn about the changes. So we, as a group of educators, met earlier this year to talk about things that we felt were working really well with our schedule and things that we would like to work better. And one of the things that we talked about was the size of our teams. And we felt for transition for kids coming from 4th grade into 5th grade, it would be really important for us to make smaller teams so that kids had fewer relationships to build with teachers, and then that teachers could advocate and get to know students a little bit more thoroughly. So in grade 5 on the left, students will be placed in teams of 2. And that will mean that they will have one teacher that they see for 2 hours a day that will teach reading and social studies. And then they'll have one teacher that they'll see for 2 hours a day that will teach math and science. And so it doesn't mean necessarily that they'll sit in the same classroom for 2 full hours. It might be that they're there for 90 minutes and come back for half an hour. In some cases, they will be there for 2 full hours, but they'll have both of those content areas from that one teacher. That also means for you as a parent, fewer people for you to connect with when you're trying to keep track of grades and work completion and concerns and things that are going on. So hopefully that will help. We also will have a Phy Ed and music opportunity for students, and that will be an every other day schedule. So like an A day, B day schedule. I don't know if we'll call it A day or B day yet. This is new for us, but they'll have Phy Ed one day and then whatever their music election is the other day. And their music elections are band, choir, orchestra, and general music. New this year, students will pick one of those. Up through this point, every student got general music and then they picked band, choir, or orchestra. And this year we'll have every student pick a music, and then instead of it just being early in the morning with a lesson, they'll actually have that ensemble practice every other day. So it'll give a lot more time to students with band, choir, and orchestra in the classroom setting. But general music will only be if you select it. It won't be for every student. Then we have 4 exploratory classes. Our tech class right now is considered keyboarding, but next year we'll add quite a bit of coding to that. And so kids will be able to do coding and keyboarding in their 5th grade technology class. It might have a different name by next year. We haven't really explored that yet. And then art. Our Project Lead the Way class for 5th grade is the design lab. And a lot of it to us as parents probably looks like what we had for industrial tech or woods or things like that, except that they design things in wood and then they go to the computer and they design it in CAD, and then in some cases they're able to print those things in plastics using the 3D printer. So it's kind of like industrial tech on steroids because it has a whole different look than what we had for the second portion of that class. And then the 4th exploratory they get is a health class. It's called personal wellness. And those typically have been quarter classes that meet every day. But in this new schedule, they'll meet one semester every other day. So they might have the health class and the art class at the same time every other day. In some situations, students that have additional needs for reading and math will be taken out of one of those exploratory classes. So they might have health one day and an intervention class the other day, every other day for a semester. So they could miss up to 2 of those exploratory classes if there's additional need in math or reading. And then 1 hour a day we'll have pride time, and during pride time there are a few different things that might happen. The first will be independent reading and conferring with their homeroom teacher. So we'll set aside a half an hour for independent reading every single day. And then the other half an hour of that 1 hour pride time will be digital literacy and our REACH program. Do you want to talk a little bit about REACH?
REACH is a program that we will be using throughout the entire building, 5th graders and 6th graders, and it's also at Ellis with 7th and 8th graders. And it's about building relationships, focusing on student strengths and sparks, and really developing those over time as we begin to build deeper and richer relationships with our students. And we'll be doing that during this pride time. that's set aside each day.
We're excited to implement that for all students next year. Ellis and IJ Holton have both piloted that program the last 2 years for the Search Institute of Minnesota, and so we're excited to bring it to all students next year. Then the difference with 6th grade will be that instead of a team of 2, it'll be a team of 4. And so they would have 4 core teachers, 1 math, 1 science, social studies, reading. And we feel like that'll be a good transition going into Ellis because that's closer to Ellis's model. So we found a way to make the 2 different kinds of schedules work here, but be really mindful of the fact that we have 2 years with them and then we transition them out to a new building, so making good use of that transition. So we'll have the teams of 2 in 5th grade, trying to shrink the size of our school. Kids were really amazed at how big our school was yesterday. We talked to them about, why do you think we have 2 principals? And so we said, because there are so many students here. We have about 900 people in this building on a full day. So next year we'll have 800 students and then about 100 adults. And so kids thought that was really crazy that there were almost 1,000 people in this building. So we feel like with the teams of 2, that'll kind of shrink their world a little bit and it won't feel quite so big. Feel like easier communication with families, like I said. One thing that will be different this year, or next year rather, is that when they go to their exploratory classes, music and Phi Ed, they won't be with their homeroom. So they'll mix up with other 5th graders and see different kids. And that traditionally in this building, when they go to those classes, they would be with their homeroom. So that'll be a change for students for next year. We will have 1 team of 2 teachers that will loop. So they will have 1 class of 5th grade and 1 class of 6th grade next year, and then those 5th graders will stay with them into 6th grade. And if that's something that you think sounds interesting to you, we've had some students that have a lot of success with looping with a teacher for 2 years in a row. You can certainly contact us and make that request. We have a number of kids that are already on the list to try to be a part of that group. And then the homeroom composition will be, it'll be a mix of kids that have high and low ability, that have an EL need or a special ed need, kids that have a gifted need. And so the homerooms will be just a good composition of what the building looks like. Here's what a sample schedule might look like for a 5th grade student. Remember for music and PE, I should have put another exploratory class in there like art and health. But music and PE would be every other day, art and another exploratory class would be every other day. But math, science, reading, and social studies will be every day. This is what the building looks like from the footprint point of view. Where you see all the yellow squares, those are all regular classrooms, and so we'll do our best to put teams of 2 teachers close to one another so kids don't have a far distance to travel. And then the green rectangles you see are locker bays. So for example, a student might have this classroom and this classroom for their team of 2, and then their locker would be right there. Or they might be these 2 classrooms and their locker would be right there. So the FTLAs that Mrs. Heeman referenced are these flexible spaces in the middle. And all the classrooms around this perimeter use that flexible area. There are 3 of those flexible areas on each floor. You can see on the far side the gyms and the music suite. You'll be able to see those on your tour. And then our 5th grade counselor, Mrs. Delaney, will have an office right here on the 5th floor with easy access for students. 6th grade, I tried to just show you the areas that kids might need to access, 5th graders might need to. So the blue are the health room, the art room, and the computer lab. And then the other rooms are special ed or EL service. And then Mrs. Taylor's office is also upstairs.
Student supports, there's a variety of resources here in the building that we want you to know about, be aware of, and we will help you communicate with the right folks for the right reasons. So we have grade level counselors. We have 1 that loops in each grade. We have some advanced course placements based upon some testing that goes on in the elementaries and here with MCAs and Scantron if they need to have some more challenging classes. We have some intervention courses for students that find that the curriculum is difficult or challenged to access, and we need to provide them some more supports. We have some English language learners supports as well. Sometimes they push into the classroom, sometimes they're pulled out to receive those types of services. We have special education services as well. Some of those classes are pushed in so that the special education teacher can provide the support right there in the science classroom or reading classroom. And finally, after school, you probably are aware of targeted services at all of the elementaries. that is additional time after school that we provide for students to still yet receive some of that special attention for academic reasons in the areas of reading and math.
And here at IJ Holton, our targeted services program is called Beyond the Bell. So there's always a little bit of confusion at the beginning of the year. What is Beyond the Bell? And so Beyond the Bell is that extra academic support after school. We do have a 4 o'clock bus, and it doesn't drop off at every location, but it drops off at a lot of locations around Austin. So students that need to stay for that program then have a ride home at 4 o'clock. Then we have a list of extracurriculars. And in order to not bombard you today, we'll provide you with more information about how to sign your kids up for these programs later. But just to give you an idea of what we have VEX Robotics, and those are, we have a 5th grade and a 6th grade competitive level teams. And last year we had a team that qualified and went to the World's competition. This year we had all of our teams went to the state level competition. So we've had some really good success. Mrs. Jensen is our 6th grade coach, and then Mr. Ansorge is our 5th grade coach for VEX Robotics. Peer Power Partners is a mentorship program where we have students that have disabilities and students that don't partner up to build friendships and work on social skills, and they do a lot of activities together and some community service. Most recently, they have written a grant to have a professional artist come in and paint a mural on this wall with the Peer Power Partners, this wall outside, and then we'll make an outdoor classroom area, and so they'll be working together on that project. They've got some great leadership in that program. HEAT is Holton enrichment activities and teams, and that provides opportunities probably about half the year, and they will be 2 or 3 week courses, so kids might learn. I think the beginning of the year they had one called Style Lounge where they talked about, like, you know, all things modern style and fashion.
Pokemon Club, floor hockey season, some of them are for just interest in sports, and others are a little more sports oriented because we don't have a sports team at this level because we're in intermediate school, we're technically in elementary, and students start test, do you have a basketball team? No, we don't, but we do offer in our HEAT program a 3-week basketball class. So getting them interested.
And usually they divide them up and run 2 clubs at a time, and so one is usually athletics based, and then one is some other interest. And then the information about that sign up will come out. We do a weekly newsletter to parents, and so that'll come out each Sunday, and then you'll be able to see links for how to sign kids up for that. WEB is a mentorship program or a transition program for students. It stands for Where Everyone Belongs. And many of you might be familiar with the LINK program at the high school, which is also a transition program. We have students from Ellis who are former Holton Hawks come over and mentor our incoming 5th graders, show them around the building, teach them about how to advocate for themselves and what kinds of things are available here at IJ Holton. And so the students will be invited to attend the WEB day and meet up with their mentors and their group of friends that they'll be able to make. I think it's August 31st. I have the date a little bit later here, but during that week before school starts, they'll be able to spend a half day here in the building getting used to everything. We have a student council that'll get up and running at the beginning of the year. We produce a musical each year. And do you want to talk a little bit about Word?
Sure. So right now we have Word, but Mrs. Taylor and I run it this year. It's called Word, We Oppose and Resist Drugs. Just really talking to kids about the harmful effects of like tobacco and alcohol and weed and marijuana. But then also like peer pressure and how to make healthy decisions. But next year, Mrs. Robinson, our health teacher, is going to take over. I will be on maternity leave all fall. So I don't want to leave Mrs. Taylor to it by herself. This year we had over 100 sign up. So it's a pretty popular program. So Mrs. Robinson will take over next year.
All right, and then we have Math Masters and other services for our gifted and talented students. So they do things like go to the Young Author, Young Artist Conference, participate in Math Masters, some other competitions and things, the Geography Bee, the Spelling Bee, and so there are quite a few different enrichment activities like that happen throughout the year. I'm sure your kids have not talked to you at all about how excited they are about getting a computer next year. There were a lot of them talking about it yesterday. When do we get our computers? That was the big question that they had. So we're a 1-to-1 laptop school, and that continues now from IJ Holton all the way through Austin High School. And there's a $35 tech fee that you pay for the computer each year. And then it's helpful for you to have access to Wi-Fi at home, but it's not necessary by any means. we collect all the laptops over the summer to clean them up and make sure everything's working, and you'll get a lot more information about that technology in the fall. We have a backpack that we recommend that you can buy through the school. I think last year it was $20, and it's got a specific laptop sleeve in there. That's a really good design. And if you purchase your own backpack, we can check it out at mass registration and make sure that that's okay. All right, here are important dates, and this will be on our Facebook page, so I would tell you right away, Facebook would be a great way for you to stay connected to our building. We put lots of reminders on there for dates and activities and things, as well as a lot of pictures of things going on in the building. Next week, Tuesday and Thursday, you'll be able to come here to IJ Holton to arrange for band or orchestra instrument rental.
We met with the kids yesterday and Tuesday and had them try all the instruments, both for band and for orchestra, and also we're talked to by our choir and general music people as well. So they brought some paperwork home to you to decide, okay, well, of all those choices, what would you like to pick to do? And then we're inviting you to a parent meeting next week, either Tuesday or Thursday, where you can come and we can answer more specific questions about band, for me in particular, or Mrs. Radloff for orchestra. And then we can help you get lined up to get an instrument, to make arrangements to get an instrument for your son or daughter.
And you should have received an email and a phone call about dates and times for band and orchestra open houses already. And then I'll send that out again on Sunday or Monday just as a reminder that we'll have these meetings. I think there are 3 different meetings on Tuesday and 2 different meetings on Thursday. And so we'll make sure that you get those times so that you can stop back and make those arrangements. Then on Thursday, the 13th, the registration form will be sent home with your child from their 4th grade teacher. And the registration forms are due back the following Tuesday. We'll also send a phone reminder about that. And on that form, you're going to pick one music choice for your child: band, choir, orchestra, or general music. But if you pick band or orchestra, you'll also have the option to select, even though my kid's in band during the day, I want them to be an after-school choir also, because we'll have an early bird. Right now it's called early bird choir because it used to be before school. We're going to move it to after school, so I don't think we'll call it late bird choir, but we'll call it something, and it'll be an after-school choir for students. There were a lot of kids yesterday that were very excited about that opportunity. And so on the registration form, if you pick band or orchestra, you can also pick choir. And that is available on that form. You'll turn the form back into a 4th grade teacher, and then on the 18th, I'll go around to the elementary schools and pick up those registration forms. And then in late July, we'll send a packet home, just like you get every year, which is your registration forms. Mass registration takes place at Austin High School on August 9th and 10th. And then we'll have back to school conferences August 29th and 30th, and then the web activity is the afternoon of the 31st. No moms and dads, just kids and group leaders. So you can drop your kids off and have the afternoon to yourself, and we'll take good care of them and get them acclimated and build some new friendships.